everyone, it's Joy here for Honeybee Stamps. Today I created a really fun Christmas card using the St. Nick stamp and coordinating die along with the Holly Jolly background. So here is that St. Nick stamp and coordinating die. You've got this great large Santa Claus and all these fantastic sentiments, and then of course you have your coordinating dies, which includes dies for your sentiments. I'm using the Nordic Winter stencil, which is so pretty, and the really fun Holly Jolly background stamp. Okay, I am starting with a piece of really light gray cardstock, and we're going to start stamping on this background. I was so excited when I saw this background stamp that has all of these phrases and then different fonts and everything, and I just knew I was going to stamp this all over a whole background. Now there is coordinating dies to die cut out just certain parts of these sentiments, which is really fantastic, you guys. So super cool, but I'm not doing that. That's new from the new Make It Merry release, and then also this brilliant white pigment ink is new. So I am stamping up this sentiment using that brilliant white pigment ink. I'm going to do that a couple times to get a good crisp white image, and then I'm going to put that aside to dry because, as you know, pigment ink takes a long time to dry. So I stamped this Santa on some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock with intense black ink from Honeybee Stamps because it is Copic friendly, and then we're going to do some Copic coloring. This is a large image, so it's going to take a minute, but it's so fun, and this was fun to color, you guys, and he turned out fantastic. So for my red combination for his suit and his hat, I'm using R35, 37, and 39, which is really my go-to for all reds. I probably should figure out a different one, but I just think it's such a perfect red color combination that I just have to use it. So as you're going to see here, I'm just going to color in little sections because I feel like on a large image like this, it's a bit more manageable. And so I did his hat first, I did his arm, now I'm just doing one part of his suit. And I'm starting with the R39, that's my darkest color. Then I'm going to blend out a little bit with the R37, that's my medium. And then the R35 is my lightest color. And if you notice, I will go over it a couple times. I do feel like, for me personally, I feel like I get the best blend when I do it twice. And as you can see, he's really starting to come to life, and he is such a jolly Santa. He's so fun. I think he's got a great face. And yeah, he's just great. And I love his orientation and the way that he's a little bit sideways, and there is a large coordinating die to go with him, obviously. And so he just fits perfect on a card. I am finishing off, since I've done all the red, I'm coming back in with that R39 and just kind of darkening some of those really, those areas that are going to be darker in shadow. And as you can see, when I do that, it just is really looking so much better. So he is good as far as his red suit goes. Then we have his the little berries, so his little holly berries, and then his green. I am using G46 and G29, and I like that little pop of green on here. And then for his belt, I am using C4, 6, 8, and then 10. 10 is just straight black, which you don't usually want to use when you're actually coloring something black because you're not going to get any light areas and dark areas. It's just going to be all dark. But I am bringing in that C10 at the very end to really kind of darken up some of these areas. The same that I did with the R39, but it's going to be really dark. But having that C4 kind of be the lightest color that I'm blending out with, you can see that there is stuff, like there's movement in the belt and there's shape to it, rather it just being like one dark color. I'm going to use C2 and C1 for his hat, just for the white areas, C1 for the fluffy part on the bottom of his suit and on his arms, and for his gloves. I'm just adding a little bit of color just to make it seem white and not just uncolored if you left it white. Then for his face, I'm using E000, E00, and E11, and just kind of blending that out. And of course we need to give him some rosy cheeks, so I will be using R20 and R30. R20 is darker. I'm going to blend it out with R30. And then you can just see how cute his little rosy cheeks are going to be. And I'm just going to come back in with those other that little skin color and just darken him up a little bit more near his hat. Then we want the bell to be gold, the belt buckle to be gold, and then my daughter said, his buttons should be gold. So I am using Y35 and 38 to give that gold color, and I think it is so, so cute. We've got this great bell that he's going to be ringing. I just assume he's ringing it for the reindeer, maybe. That's what I think. That's the story I have in my head. Then I'm using C3, 2, and 1 for his beard, mustache, and eyebrows, just to make that a little bit darker, so that way you can see there's a little bit more color going on in his facial hair. So I started with the C3, then kind of went over those same areas with the C2, and then again with the C1. Let's add some highlights with a white gel pen. Normally I do this at the end, but I felt like I just wanted to get it done now. So I'm adding some dots and some little sparkly, shiny areas on the bell, of course. I did not want to over highlight him because he's just so awesome, but I did add some highlights to the holly berries, a little bit to his belt, the belt buckle, and his buttons. I am going to add a little bit to his hat. And then I will add a couple little spots on his arms because like I said, I just did not want to over highlight because I felt like it would take away from how cute he is. So I'm going to add one more on his hat, and then I'm going to do his arms, and that's where I leave it because I think he's so, so cute. I'm going to use that coordinating die to die cut him out, and look at how fantastic he is. Oh my gosh, I love the Santa Claus. Okay, so for our background, let's bring in some Distress Grit Paste because it so looks like snow. I'm using one of the stencils from the Nordic Winter stencil. I am making sure I stencil around the large Santa Claus sentiment in the back because I kind of want that to be this whole sentiment that you're going to read. And the top part says, "Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus." And so it's totally perfect. But I wanted to bring in some snow effect, so we are going to use the Distress Grit Paste with that Nordic Winter stencil. I popped some foam tape behind the Santa, and I'm going to put him in place now that my grit paste is nice and dry. And I want to adhere this to a white A2 size card base, but I also wanted to bring in some gem stickers from the Winter Wonder gem stickers pack, and I'm just going to use some white gem stickers. Now, these already have adhesive on the back, but I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue because I do have this grit paste all over the background, and I have ink on the background. I just want to make sure that they stay, so I'm just going to place a few of these around. I wanted to keep the background really kind of very light in color because I wanted the Santa Claus to pop out, but you could add some red gem stickers to this and those would pop and be really, really pretty as well on this background. But I just kept it simple with the white, so I'm just going to add some of those to some of the snowflakes and then just in and around the snowflakes. And then, like I said, I will adhere this to a white A2 size card base. And this card is finished, and look at how wonderful that Santa Claus is. He is so amazing. And that holly jolly background stamp, and of course that Nordic Winter stencil is just absolutely gorgeous. I am in love with this card. I hope you guys enjoyed this project, and I hope that you feel inspired. And thank you guys so very much for stopping by and watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.